Thank you, everybody, for letting me know that there was audio issues with my George Santos video. I tried to save it. There's no saving. It really screwed up the audio in that. But here's the gist of that video. George Santos was saved, and he was saved because 31 Democrats decided to vote along with 179 Republicans to save George Santos from expulsion. Now, I know that what you all want to know is who are the 31 Democrats who voted alongside 179 Republicans to save George Santos from expulsion. I got the list right here. So, Colin Allred, Jake Auchincloss, Ed Case, Emmanuel Cleaver, Henry Culler, Sharice Davids, Chris DeLuzio, Lizzie Fletcher, Jared Golden, Jim Himes, Stephen Horsford, Jeff Jackson, Hank Johnson, who is my representative from the great state of Georgia, Rick Larson, Susie Lee, Zoe Lofgren, Seth Magaziner, Morgan McGarvey, Rob Menendez, Gwen Moore, Marie Glusenkamp Perez, Katie Porter. Yes, Katie Porter from the great state of California. Jamie Raskin. Yes, I've got a statement from Jamie Raskin that I will be reading. Dutch Ruppersberger, Brad Schneider, Kim Schreier, Bobby Scott, Alyssa Slotkin, Mark Takano, Rashida Tlaib, and Nikema Williams. 31 Democrats who voted with 179 Republicans to save George Santos from expulsion. George Santos, who has a 31 count indictment that included fraud, stolen identity, various things. He did all of that to try to get his spot into Congress. Now, I know many of you are upset. You're getting ready to write your congressman. Let me explain to you why I think, which Jamie Raskins pretty much backs up. I'll read his statement in a minute. But this is why I think that they all came together to save George Santos from expulsion, is because George Santos really hasn't had due process yet. He's been indicted, but he has not gone to trial, and he has not been found guilty. And here in the United States, you're innocent until proven guilty. You have a right to due process, and you're innocent until proven guilty. Okay, so I believe, and I understand that it's still infuriating. It still pisses me off, though. Here's what Jamie Raskins had to say in his statement. And maybe it'll help y'all to calm down. But, yeah, this is what Jamie Raskins had to say. I'm a Constitution guy. The House has expelled 5 people in our history. 3 for joining the Confederacy as traitors to the Union, and 2 after they were convicted of criminal offenses. Santos has not been criminally convicted yet of these offenses cited in the resolution, nor has he been found guilty of ethics offenses in the House internal process. Now, remember, I think it was Representative D'Esposito, who brought forth the resolution to expel George Santos. And in his resolution, the reasoning for that he was bringing forth to expel George Santos was because of his 31 indictment count. So he shared those charges in his resolution, and he shared some of the stories that go alongside those indictments. You know, what the scam was, what the scheme was, how he went about stealing people's identity and their money. Jamie Raskins goes on to say, or further, before I go on to say, I want to say the reason why there is no House internal processes, why there is no investigation, is because, remember, Kevin McCarthy was blocking anyone from touching George Santos. Remember, because, you know, there's a slim margin, right? So they need George Santos's vote. And so Kevin McCarthy protected George Santos. I don't believe there's an ethics investigation currently happening against George Santos. The only investigation that I know of that occurred is from the DOJ, which resulted in the 31 count indictment. If y'all know more, put it down below and let me know. Okay, this would be a terrible precedent to set, expelling people who have not been convicted of a crime and without internal due process. If and when Santos is convicted of these serious criminal offenses or ethics charges, I will certainly vote to expel. Until then, it's a very risky road to go down, and we have to stick by due process and the rule of law, as obvious as the eventual result seems. I can think of 4 or 5 Democratic members the Republicans would like to expel without a conviction or adverse ethics findings. We can't abandon due process and the rule of law in the House of Representatives. And this is what bugs me about the Democrats. The Democrats are sticking to the rules, sticking to precedent, sticking by the law. Democrats don't give a shit about any of that, right? These 5 Democrats that Jamie Raskins is referencing, if for any reason somebody brings forth a resolution to have one of them expelled, every last one of those Republicans will band together and vote to expel that Democrat, whether he had due process or not. They don't care about the rules. They don't care about the rules. Republicans are still trying to work. Democrats are still trying to work with Republicans. However, my mind is, what's swirling around in my mind is that I wonder if saving George Santos from expulsion is what made 23 Republicans move over to save Rashida Tlaib from being censured. You know how politics works. It very well could have happened. But Democrats are always trying to take the high road, are always trying to do things by the book. And each and every time they end up looking like fools. Republicans are not trying to work with Democrats. They are not trying to follow precedent. They are not trying to follow the law. Half of their freaking party are criminals. Half of their freaking party worked with white supremacists, terrorists, racists to try to overthrow the government. And the Democrats are still trying to play by the book. This is what bugs me about the Democrats. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to be out. A few months ago, I came out and said, I don't ever see myself voting for Republican again in the future. And so I might as well now consider myself a permanent member of the Democratic Party. I can't do it. As of today, no, I can't do it. I knew I would eventually get here. I didn't know it would be this quick. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to consider myself a Democrat. I told you guys for decades prior to that little switch a few months ago, I was an independent. I would vote for whoever. If I felt that their policies that they wanted to implement would help me and my community, I would vote for them. I didn't care about the R. I didn't care about the D. If they were independent, I would vote for them too. I cannot consider myself a member of the Democratic Party. I cannot. Truth be told, I don't even know if my heart really accepted being a Democrat. I am an independent. I will say that I am an independent that will be Democrat leaning, meaning I will be voting Democrat. But if the Republican Party ever shapes up and gets back to the business of the people, get rid of the white supremacy and the racism and work towards the betterment of all people, I would vote Republican again in the future. I don't see that happening though. Do you? Yeah, your girl is back. I don't even know. I can't even say I really left. I think it was words. I can't say I really left. Let me know your thoughts on George Santos and the 31 Democrats who sided with 179 Republicans to save George Santos from expulsion. My explanation as to why I think they did it, do you understand? Do you agree? Let me know your thoughts. We'll continue the conversation down in the comment section.